Hi friends, thanks for joining me. Today I've got a really fun project for you using the July 2023 kits, and as you can see summer is here and I shall be using the free subscriber cut files, and in particular those seashells and that pineapple. So I wanted to make a mini book using those cut files. I thought the pretty shapes of the seashell and that pineapple would make great pages. So off camera, because it did take quite some time, I have cut out the cut files on my silhouette. They do incidentally work with Cricut and the other major cutting machines because you've got lots of choices of file which you'll be able to open in your machine's software. So I've used the cardstock kit to cut out my shapes, and then I've backed them with the pattern papers in the main kit or in the cardstock kit. Just to keep things easy for me, I have just used a few pattern papers and used the fronts and the backs. And I actually cut these out on the silhouette as well. So do you know how to do that yourself? If you take the shape and then just divide that shape so you're left with the inside bits and the outside bits. There will be some setting in your software where you can do that very easily. And then of course I just remove the inner bits so that I have the outer shape only. So in this seashell, for example, I've got that outline for the pattern paper, but not the inner cuts because I've divided it and then removed them. And that makes it a doddle then to cut out very quickly. So I am making my front cover here, and I've used some chipboard pieces from the embellishment kit, like the surfboard and the little beach bag. And I've tucked in my favourite vellum leaves from the embellishment kit and layered over some more die cuts from the main kit. So what I've done is set about mainly with the decorations first, and then I've pulled out some very small photos to pop on the pages. So this seashell, for example, is quite narrow, so I've scaled all my photos so they're about 3 by 4 inches high. And the added advantage of that is, of course, that you can get 4 photos on a 6 by 4 page. So that's a real good money saving technique. So what I tend to do is pick out my main piece, like the chipboard, and then I'll pick out the supporting pieces such as the flowers, die cuts and leaves. For this photo, I thought I'd tuck a tag behind the photo. I love a tag because it means I can add a little bit of twine. And I decided to add some ink to the edges of this shell, just because on the background you don't have as much detail on the back of the die cut as you do on the front. Now, of course, I could have cut out 2 die cuts per page so that the front and back are the same, but I thought that was probably a bit of overkill. And I love how this has turned out, because when you're holding it in your hands you've got all these interesting shapes, and no 2 pages are alike. So I'm just using a selection of the chipboard there. And to make life easier for me, I've taken my organiser tray and I've emptied out the chipboard, the die cuts from the main kit, the die cuts from the embellishment kit, the vellum piece. Well, there's just heaps of pieces, as you can see there. And as this is my 3rd project, I've already used lots of pieces from the kit. So the kits are huge, as you know if you're a subscriber. I love the phrases that we get on the Pocket Life kit. And all you need to do is cut those apart, so snip apart the phrases. And what's really clever about these phrases is you'll get a front and a back. and they'll be in 2 different colours, and sometimes the phrases change. So you've got a big selection there, I found, when I came to put my phrases onto my project, which again I find really clever. And sorry this is off camera, but I found this pretty picture on the pocket life cards, and I thought I'd fussy cut out that deck chair and umbrella. Although I suspect there probably is something similar in those die cuts and chipboard. So I'll just pop that down, and then I just like to add some layers if I can, above and behind the pieces. So I'm just adding some of the puffy stickers. And what I did for my process is I kind of mainly decorated each page, and then I came back and added more. So I always think more is more when it comes to scrapbooking. So I'm in love with this pineapple. This would look fantastic on a page, but I've made it a page on its own, just because I loved it so much. And I thought rather than decorate it as I've done the other pages, I've just tied waxed thread around the middle there, and I'm going to hang off some tags from the Pocket Life kit because they're kind of small. And also in the Pocket Life kit you can have the clear acrylic stamps, which are a fantastic investment because each month they have different phrases and words that you would use all year round. So once you have those, of course, keep them all together and you'll find the perfect phrase for your project. So I've hung a small tag and then a thin long tag, and then I'm just going to tuck in some fussy cut leaves I cut from one of the main papers in the main kit. And I love how this cluster has turned out. It looks really pretty. So on the reverse you can see where that twine comes around, so I'm just working around that on this side so it goes together really well. And again, some of those fussy cut leaves, and then just a simple die cut. And then I'm adding some of the die cut flowers and leaves again above. So as you can see, I've kind of kept the decoration for each page fairly simple. There are, I think it's 7 pages. Let me just count because I've lost count. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. I was right. And of course they're double-sided. So I didn't want to go through the whole process for each page because that'd be a bit tedious. So if you can stick around to the end, then I will do a flip through for you, so that you can see all the lovely detail that are on these pages. So these narrow ones, I've just put some decoration rather than put a photo and decoration. So I love how those have turned out. And look how fancy it looks with all the different shapes and sizes. So stick around for the flip through now. So I finished the album and you can see how pretty it looks. I'm just really chuffed with the result. There's so many different textures and layers. I think it will be a real treat to flick through. So let me just do a quick flip through for you. I've just done some simple binding with a hole at the top of each page, and then used a pretty book ring which I've decorated with ribbons and trims, which I just think adds a pretty touch. And I created a little tag as this is a gift for a friend. Let me just unhook it so that you can see each page. And this is just a simple tag from the embellishment kit and those fussy cut leaves. So just something very simple. I love how the cover has turned out. Look at all those pretty layers. It just looks amazing. And it's just all the different textures from the kit. So some chipboard, my favourite vellum leaves, some die cuts, more die cuts. And then I've just added some gems and then did white paint splatters all over. And I just like how that really kind of gives it a beachy feel. It probably doesn't really, but I like it anyway. And then on the back, I was just going to do a kind of dedication page, but in the end, I used these layer stickers because I couldn't resist. Look how cute they are. And then more of my favourite leaves. So my friend's very lucky that I was parting with these because they really are stunning. So my friend celebrated her 25th wedding anniversary in Jamaica. So this kit, the July 2023 kit, was perfect for the subject. And again, look at those layered stickers. There's so much detail. So once again, I've used the cut files from July 2023, which are free to subscribers. And I just really wanted to give you some ideas of, how you could make a really interesting book. And it's just actually very simple, but it was a good excuse to use lots of embellishments and have a little play. So I've used the thread here underneath just to add some interest. I love this piece with the pineapple. So I love the pineapple turned out, and I've just wound that twine around, laid up some tags and leaves. So yeah, I could have put a photo there, to be honest, but I just really like how that turned out. And then there's a photo on the back. And again, more layering, more gems and more white splatters. So that's one of my favourite pieces. And I love the flip-flops. Okay, so I quite like this one too. So the flip-flops are so cute, aren't they? More layers, those vellum leaves. On the back, more die cuts and the chipboard cloud. Look how cute that is. Just adorable kit this month, as always. Isn't it fantastic though, the way we have exclusive products that you can't get anywhere else? I just love that, that unique part. And then to have the exclusive die cuts as well, the cut files rather, and those are free to subscribers. So definitely worth checking those out. So that is my mini album. I really hope you liked it, and I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions or any comments for me, I'll try and get back to you. And I'm now going to leave you with some close-ups. Bye now.